Hey guys, I know I missed last week's Insecure. Y'all, everybody know a lot's been going on, and I just couldn't bring myself to post anything last week. Like, I'm sorry. But I'm going to touch on last week's episode, which was episode 4, season 4, episode 8, Lowkey Happy, and then I'm going to get into Lowkey Trying right after that. This is going to be a real short recap of last week's episode because I know y'all probably didn't watch other recaps or y'all just don't want to hear about it. So I understand that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl. Appreciate it. All love. Anyway, so for Lowkey Happy, this was another like very intimate episode because we only saw Issa and Lawrence mostly. There was a couple of jump ins, but really just a Issa and Lawrence episode. So, when Issa, I forgot how it started, y'all, the episode, but I'm just gonna jump. Like, Issa and Lawrence, they decide to hang out. I guess it's like right after he left the airport when he saw Miley. He calls her up, asked to meet for a drink. They meet up for a drink. She fall hard as hell, which was hilarious. And they were in some bar that was just way too loud. So they decide to go to have dinner or whatnot to this place that Issa always wanted to go. Then turns out she ended up going, after their relationship was over or whatever. Not a big deal. So during dinner, Lawrence brings up what would have happened if we would have stayed together, even though Issa the one that cheated. But it's just Issa was just a real fucked up person back then. They both were just like in a really unhappy place when they were together, way back when, and how they broke up and she cheated with, what's his name, Daniel, and she's just like, she was sorry and everything, so they kind of had like a little closure and it was cool. And while this is all going on, when Issa goes to the bathroom, Condola is trying to reach out to Lawrence and see if she could meet up with him. I guess they were supposed to meet up later that week, and she wanted to change it to that night. He was like, he'll keep her posted because he's busy doing something. I was like, okay, Lawrence, you trying to juggle too, or what's going on? So from there, they leave the restaurant, run into Issa's Ola, you dig, and TSA Bay with the booty clap, and his new girlfriend who looks very just uninterested in everything except for her phone. So after that, they go on that was a little funny scene. They go to the art walk and really talking and whatnot, vibing and everything, just like old times. Then they go to Lawrence's place, take an Uber there, and then she finds out that he lives very close, like walking distance from her. So they share a lift or whatnot, and he wants her to see his place, see that he's got his grown man going on. It's not like a little bachelor pad, it's a grown man's house type thing. So and while Issa comes in for 5 minutes, she has to use the bathroom, and then Condola's calling him again during this, so he finally calls her back and says that like he almost done wrapping up whatever he doing, and he'll see if he can still hit her up in a minute. So, but Issa overhears that, and then she's like, dang, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, you weren't meant to hear that, blah blah blah. My feelings would have been a little bit hurt because I'm like, dang, as soon as I walk away from you trying to talk to another bitch. I mean, I know we ain't together, but I'm sensitive, y'all. So Issa expressed to him that what if she doesn't want to leave at this point, and she want to stay and everything, so she stays and they get it in. And for all you Issa and Lawrence fans, y'all got what y'all wanted. I don't know how I feel about them being together. It's cool, but yeah, so it's just like a lot, y'all. So that was pretty much the gist of the episode. But it seems like they got some questions answered through this that they didn't have before. So it's like a little bit of closure, but then like a opener and closer, closer and opener of the relationship. So now we're going to get into Lowkey Trying. Yesterday's episode, because I'm doing this really, really early in the morning because I always do it the next day. Anyway, So we see Issa and Lawrence. I'm like, oh, so they still kicking it. This is the first scene that we see. This is also directed by the lovely Kerry Washington, White Hand Sewing Gladiators. Love her. Anyway, yeah, so they're staring intensely at each other. They're on their little blue couch. We got a blue couch too. That's cute. And yeah, so this is like Issa and Lawrence 2.0. They're just like kicking it like they used to, but like productive, because Lawrence got a job now, she got a purpose and shit. They both got purposes and they on their laptops, they fucking every other scene, on the couch, off the couch, on the side. She just took a shower, he grabbed her again, she's like ooh, and they doing it constantly. And they're just having a good old time, and it's nice to see. And they're just like back, because it's different when you get that old thing back. Because y'all know each other, you just like so comfortable. It's hard getting to know somebody, y'all. Like, it's exhausting. So they're just like, because they were always really good friends too, so it just brings so much more to the table, because they just been through a lot together, and they just understand each other in a certain type of way that you ain't gonna get that off the bat of dating new people. So from there, Issa gets a text from Nathan, and he's like, hey, and she says that she can help him move or whatnot, because she runs it by Lawrence first. She was like, I don't want to have any secrets or whatever. I want to be honest. And a dude I used to mess with, but we're still cool, asked me if I could help him move, and I had told him I would, but I don't know what's going on with us, but I just want to run it by you, because I don't want to mess up the chances of this be whatever this is. And then she's like, what is it? He was like, oh, okay. He was like, oh, you really would I really got you, huh? So they both was like joking about how they're both so into each other or whatnot. And and I appreciate Issa's honesty. I'm sure he did too, that she didn't like go behind his back or nothing, because I'm sure Lawrence still has hella trust issues because she cheated. And then she even mentioned last episode that one of the reasons why she cheated was because like he wasn't giving her any attention. They were at a point where they were even having sex, and she just didn't feel wanted by Lawrence. So that can really like fuck with a person's head, if you feel like your man don't want you and all that. And then Daniel was giving her what she wanted and making her feel a certain type of way, where like she was something and she was desirable and all that, and she just felt like Lawrence didn't want her no more. That's what was the root of her cheating, and that's what she told to him. But anyway, he told her it's fine if she goes to help him move. And then she does ask, like, so what are we? And he was like, well, what do you want us to be? And then they kind of start, well, then she asked him, does he have any more loose ends, loose vaginas out there? He was like, no, not really. He said that he spoke to Condola. We don't see this as viewers. He said he spoke to Condola, and they're good, they're done. So I was like, okay, so at least he got that, whatever closure he needed with her. I guess that's what he said, so all we can do is believe him. And that was it. He also goes on to say, because remember we saw him coming from the airport, coming from San Francisco, saying that he has another, because she asked him like, all right, so what's going on with you moving to San Francisco? Are you going to get that job, whatever? He was like, well, I won't know till I do the interview, so that's kind of up in the air. But he was like, let's not talk about that till it's actually what is it, the trial before the horse, whatever he said. Let's not talk about it until it's like said like a real thing. If it's not a real thing, ain't no point in like stressing about it, pretty much. So from there, what else? We see Miley. Miley's at therapy, which is much so needed, because she said she called her therapist when she was in Mexico with Andrew, and she was just going over the stuff that happened with Andrew's brother a little bit. She went over the stuff that the Issa situation, and she was like, well, that's my best friend. And her therapist was like, all these people in your life that you saying like they weren't, they were fucking up or whatnot, and you're right in the situation. But her therapist goes to say something that I am happy that I actually figured out years and years ago when I was in relationships and stuff. And this just applies to any relationship, not just intimate relationships. Like, do you want to be right all the time or whatnot, or do you want to be in a good relationship with the person? Like, I used to be go so hard on being right, because most of the time I am, but I used to always be like, try to go so hard on being right and wanting to prove this, and like, just really, really just, I'm right, to the point where it just stresses out everything. And it's not like, well, my thing was, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? And that just helped me with a lot of stuff, because sometimes in relationships the person's not going to be right, but you gotta move past that. And then her therapist was like, does the relationship with you and Issa serve you anymore? And then she was like, it kind of just cut off on that, because it didn't really tell us exactly where Miley stood, because she was like, the therapist was like, well, are you willing to put in the work that it takes to repair your relationship with Issa or not? And then it kind of cuts off on that. So after that, Issa goes on and tells Nathan she can help him move. She calls Kelly. Kelly does not answer the phone, because she really wanted to talk to she really wants to talk to somebody about her being with Lawrence now, because she's just like, she's finally back in her place. At first I thought she moved in with Lawrence, and I'm like, nah, don't move that fast. Like, how much time passed? But it wasn't that much time. She's just, when you first start with somebody, or start back with somebody, y'all just like this. That's pretty much what it was. So she was at her house, so she's texting Nathan, she'll help him move. She calls Kelly. Kelly does not answer her phone. Y'all, Kelly with the bilingual voicemail took me out. Like, it's just hilarious. Like, little tidbits from Kelly is just everything sometimes. But anyway, so then she looks at, she calls her brother, Amal, and he eats some jerk chicken that's way too spicy. And, he was not really helpful in the situation. He listened to her, but not really listened. And he was just like, he just wasn't a help. It was just a little comic relief right there. But she looks, and the only person that she really wants to talk to about this, who really gets her point of view and her understanding and how she, her is her best friend Miley. So she's looking, maybe I should call Miley. So we see her call Miley, and then it jumps off to Miley, like, because Issa immediately almost jumps to talking about her problem after the small talk, which Issa often does, and which isn't cool, because it's like, dang, you really only call me so you can unhash your shit. What about the stuff with us, But it turns, and then it was like Miley saying, see, you the same selfish, blah, blah, blah. But it was just really Issa's mind and what she think Miley's going to say the next time she calls. So, but she actually does call Miley, but Miley gets sends her the voicemail. She just doesn't answer the phone. And Issa leaves a message saying, hey, can we meet up or whatnot? So they actually do meet up for brunch. Issa arrives early, it looks like, and she's just sitting there tearing up napkins. She's real nervous or whatnot. She orders her and Miley some drinks, and Miley finally comes and she's like, hey girl, Issa, but because she's excited to see her friend, but she's like kind of reserved because she don't know how this whole interaction is going to go. But brunch seems to has gone cool. Miley's still a little standoffish. She got her wall up. But the brunch seemed all right, but y'all, it was pretty much superficial, as Miley stated later to Andrew. They didn't talk about anything real. They didn't talk about the block party. They didn't talk about their issues and the stuff that they were supposed to had talked about, Thanksgiving and all this stuff. So it was nice and light. Issa told her about them, Kyla Pratt and them, the other episode, how they dined and dashed on her. And, they just kind of kept it real light. Talked about, Issa mentioned saying, oh, I saw your pictures from Mexico, girl, you look good. So it was pretty much like small talk, but not a real conversation that you would have with your best friend. So from there, they got done eating, and then she tells Miley, like, oh, I'm going to be helping Nathan with his moving and stuff. So, I'll probably see you or whatever when it comes to that, because, Andrew, Miley's boyfriend, is Nathan's roommate. Sorry, brain went out for a second. So from there, Miley goes to Andrew's house. So I'm wondering, are they about to move in together? Because Miley live in a nice ass little condo somewhere. So I don't know, are they gonna do that? Because now Andrew just got that whole big place to himself since Nathan is moving. But Miley comes in, and she got takeout, and then not at this point. Sorry. I'm a little ahead of myself. On this one, she comes in and she talks to Andrew, says that, brunch went well, but like, it was superficial. We didn't talk about anything. And then Andrew was like, well, did you try to talk to her about anything? She's like, no, because she feels like Issa should be the one saying something or mentioning something. And I'm like, girl, sometimes people ain't gonna say shit and then that shit ain't gonna ever be said because one person wait on the other person. Somebody got to take that leap. And Andrew goes to say that. He's like, well, maybe you should meet her halfway. Sorry, y'all, something in my eye. He's like, well, maybe you should meet her halfway. And then Miley just is pretty much stubborn and stuck on like, no, I'm not doing that. And I feel like, I don't know, she could have said something. Issa's the one that reached out to her and said, let's come to brunch. Like, y'all know y'all both got problems. Like, y'all both been kind of, I don't know. It's just like, I see both sides, but I'm more on Issa's side a little bit because of how Miley did the way Miley did certain things. And so I'm more team Issa on this one. But I do understand Miley's perspective when it comes to certain stuff as far as Issa being a user or whatnot in all that respect. But anyway, and her always fucking up and being unstable. I understand that. I get that. But I still feel like Miley's out of pocket in a lot of ways, and she needs to own up to her shit. She shouldn't just be saying, well, I'm right, and this is this. Like, no, Miley, you was real fucked up for doing that at the block party. That was unnecessary, and it was not the time. Like, that girl worked real hard on that, and you just came and shitted on it because you just bitter and shit all the time. But anyway. And then Andrew goes to tell Miley, like, hey, my brother invited us to a game or whatnot. And then Miley, she got into it with his brother, I forgot his name, and in Mexico, and I guess she hasn't had an encounter with him since. So I feel like maybe him inviting Miley and him to this game or whatnot was his olive branch trying to extend it out and say, hey, Miley be holding grudges kind of real hard. Like, she could have just went on ahead and went to that damn game, but she was like, oh no, why don't, but I guess she's just not ready. She just takes her longer to get over shit. I don't know. I guess she that kind of person. But she was just like, oh, why don't you just go without me and have a guy's night out? And then Andrew kind of looked like, I guess, but he invited both of us. So he didn't go he didn't push her on it. He's just like, all right, cool, whatever. So from there, we see, and then a little random clip of Final Latoya popped in that Andrew and her were watching. From there, we see Issa and her assistant. They're coming from out of some business, and Issa's working on her next black event. I think it's going to be like a black wellness event or whatnot, because she was talking about how they had some cyclists and some juicers or whatever. So it looks like Issa's still putting in work and her assistant's still sticking with her, and they're like really doing this. I mean, she should come up with a name of she came up with a name of what she was doing, which I can't remember the name of her title, but she should get some business cards or something. I don't know if she does have them or not, but yeah, she putting in work again and trying to get another event going off, which is great, because she's staying busy and she's creating her own platform, like her own lane. She's creating her own lane of things that she's doing, and she's making a way for herself, which I can commend, and that's awesome. So from there, we see Issa, after she leaves from with her assistant, Lawrence calls her, and he's, I guess, coming back from San Francisco or still there. And then she asks him, how did the interview go? And he said it went really well. So at this point, it's looking like Lawrence may be moving to San Francisco. I'm like, damn, they just getting right back. That kind of sucks. And I mean, I don't know how far San Francisco is from Hollywood, but apparently you got to take a plane there. Or, I know Cali is really big, so yeah, that's crazy. So, but it's probably not that long of a but y'all, it's really hard. Like, when you with somebody and the commute is not short, it's really hard. Because sometimes you just want to be with bae, or you want to live with bae and everything, and especially since they live together so long, when they are together, they're used to being very close to one another. And even now, they live right down the street from each other. It's just like, this would be the furthest that they've ever been away from each other if they are trying to make this work. I don't know. So we'll see where that goes to from there. So after that, we see Issa finally is at Nathan's house, and then she's kind of going over her mind when she's walking up to his door, what she like, how should she be, how friendly, should she be or whatnot, because she's back talking to Lawrence, so she doesn't want to give off the wrong idea, so she wants to keep it really buddy, hey buddy, oh pal. So she comes and he's trying to like give her a nice loving sexual hug with the deep voice, but she kind of like intercept, like went out the way, like, oh hey, what's up, and they get to unpacking boxes or whatnot, and he still is kind of flirting and still just trying to get close to her and showing interest and like push up on her, and she's like getting uncomfortable, so she goes ahead and tells him that she's back talking to Lawrence. And he's like, oh, what, homeboy that you cheated on? I'm like, why you gotta be petty, Nathan? She don't, you calm down. So, and then she was like, yeah. And he was like, well, hope he don't fuck up again. So he was kind of salty because, he really did see like he wanted to have something or get something started again with Issa. And I kind of just like put that to a halt, per se. So she was like, she doesn't really know what's going on with her and Lawrence, but they trying right now. Lowkey trying. So they trying, so she don't want to fuck up whatever's going on. And she was like, besides, at least he can use his words and he just doesn't disappear. Then finally Nathan has the conversation with her, and he was like, I didn't just disappear, and I know I told you I was having some mental issues and whatnot, but it turns out that he is bipolar. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, especially his behavior when they first met and all that shit. So she was like, I'm really sorry that you even had to go through that. He was like, actually, he was really relieved because he didn't even know what was going on with him when he went back to, I think he was in Texas, back to Texas to see what was going on with himself. That's when he got diagnosed for sure. And he's just a relief that he has a name on what he was feeling, what was going on with him, because he didn't know. And he's like, he didn't want to say nothing right away because he wasn't comfortable with it himself. He had to wait to go and talk to her about it. And she, she was very, empathetic about it, and and then he goes to also tell her that he has to figure out the kind of people that he wanted in his life and his circle and whatnot, and she is one of them. I was like, oh, that is so sweet. Even if she's saying she is talking to another dude and everything, he could have been real stank about it. He was a little funky, but he was just like, he still told her that she is somebody, like a friend, that he still wants, in his corner or with him or whatever, like that. I'm like, that's really sweet and that's awesome. So from there, then they just go back to unpacking. Y'all, I ain't never asked nobody to help me unpack. I've asked people to help me pack and move, but once you get my shit there, I'll be have my shit packed in my new house for forever, like, and don't unpack nothing. Nathan, nothing. But that's really sweet. She can. I know you can ask people to help you unpack, because I've never done that. News to me. But anyway, what else? Okay, so Miley and Andrew, again, we back to them at Andrew's place, and he tells her, she coming in with the takeout. He was like, she asked him how was the game with, his brother, and he was like, it was cool, but Miley, it was kind of weird because, he invited both of us. He invited you too. He's like, I ended up just telling him you had to work. She was like, well, I didn't ask you to lie, which is true. But he was like, yeah. So they kind of started going back and forth. And then Issa and Nathan come in because, they're still like moving his shit out of there. He still actually, he needs to get out of there. And then he's like, they were like, oh, well, we can leave or whatnot if y'all, and they were like, oh no, y'all ain't got to rush out of here. We got plenty of food. Why don't y'all just stay? So they stay, eat dinner with them, and then they just drinking wine and kicking it or whatnot, kiki and ha-ha. Then Miley and Issa start talking about some drinking game that Issa made up, and then they decide to play the game, which is Celebrity Heights, and it's like you guess this height of celebrity, and whoever get it wrong got a drink. And they're playing it with wine. Y'all, I'm used to playing drinking games where you got to take a drink of like a shot or something, but that's cute too. I guess that's the grown version. I don't know stuff. But yeah, so, and then while that's going on, they run out of wine, and Andrew goes to the kitchen to get some more wine, and Molly picks up her phone real quick, and she sends a text message, and she says, oh, see, I'm trying with her. And she accidentally, we know that she's saying to Andrew, see, I'm trying with Issa, but she accidentally sends it to Issa. Now, y'all, I am guilty of doing this, like sending some type of text message that ain't meant for that person to that person, and you just be so like, damn, my bad. I'm a lot better at it now. Usually only happens mostly when I'm intoxicated, but maybe she was intoxicated and she was like thinking about Issa and accidentally went to Issa's messages and sends it to her or whatever. So Issa sees this and her face just kind of changes. And you can see she's kind of like hurt by that. And then she's just like, you know what, y'all, I'm just going to go. And then Nathan's like, what the fuck? What's going on? So Miley chases behind her as Issa's walking out. And, excuse me, sorry, y'all. Let me make sure I get all of this before. Yeah, so she chases behind her. And she's like, Issa, wait. And then she was like, no, you know. Oh, Issa actually ends up texting her back like, oh, I don't think that was meant for me. And that just makes it even more like, damn. And then she like leaves out real fast, and Miley catches back up to her because, you know, she wasn't gonna run far. She's getting an Uber or a Lyft or something. She's just standing outside. And then she was like, you know, I am trying or whatnot. And what else? She was like, everything that just seems like it's forced now with us and everything. And then Issa goes on to say, like, it just seems like I'm the only one that's trying it with the brunch and all this and blah blah that. And then she was like, I thought that we were getting back on track, because she even tells that to Lawrence when Lawrence talks to her about the whole thing. She mentions to Lawrence like, oh hey, you know, things are going back good. We went to brunch. It was nice. But when Miley talks about it, she just seems like it was just like, oh, it's just so superficial and it wasn't real or whatever. But, and then they're like going back and forth. And then she was like, well, you didn't even talk to me about, we didn't even talk about nothing. She's saying to Issa. And then Issa's like, I didn't know you wanted to talk about all that shit. So I just kept, you know, kept it pushing and just talks about, you know, light shit, whatever. And then she was like, no. She was like, okay, if you want to talk about the black, then Issa's like, if you want to talk about the black party, let's talk about it. And then Molly's like, this is so much more than a black party. It was all this shit. We just been off for like months, you know, whatnot, which they have been. And she was like, right. And then she was like, so, well, what do you want to do? Because like, I've been trying and everything, and it seems like you aren't or whatnot. And then Miley, she kind of goes off and says like, well, maybe we're in different places right now. Or maybe that, what was it? Maybe the people we are now don't fit together as friends or whatnot. And then Issa, I mean, that was pretty much a very finite things to say to me. I mean, if somebody told me that, that just means like they don't really want to try or figure out or talk about shit, because like she jumped immediately to that and she didn't express how she felt, or she didn't express without like just talking, you know, like how she felt and everything. And she didn't really use her words. She just kind of jumped to the point like, well, all she said was we're off, and I think like we don't fit together anymore in each other's lives or whatnot. And then Issa was like, okay. And then Molly was like, okay. I'm like, bitch, you just said that. You didn't think that we fit with each other anymore. So what more is there to say? Like, I would have took it the same way Issa did. Like, okay, that sounds kind of final. Like, you just really don't want to fuck with me no more. Okay. I wouldn't have went further with it either, honestly. So what do y'all think? I feel like if Molly had some shit to say, she should have said the shit right then and there. If she still feels like, because it looks like Issa kind of just wants to go past it and not really hash out too much, because she doesn't seem like, she seems like she's over it. I don't know. I feel like they should both talk and use more words, but they both chose not to. And I felt like, but it seems like Molly is the one that's still so angry. So she should have been the one who expressed that and said it in words, and not like snapped out on her like she did at the fucking block party. Like, you had a lot to say then when you was like trying to bust around in front of everybody. You a user, you this, you that. But when your friend's genuinely talking to you right in your face and it's just y'all two, you not saying shit. So I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. You gonna be mad and whatever, and then gonna say that y'all don't fit each other. Like, all right then too. Bye, bitch. What? So y'all, that was Insecure. And I don't know what's going to happen next week. I haven't looked at the preview. I'm about to look at it right after this. I just want to get this out as fast as possible. Hope everybody's being safe, doing well. If you are protesting, being safe and doing well. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. I will see you next time. Love you, love you, love you. Love you, love you, love you. Peace.